Hey everybody, good morning. It's Katie here. I mean, it's morning right now. I don't know what time of day it'll be when this actually goes up and when you'll see it. But yeah, it's Saturday morning. I'm now down to exactly 4 weeks until I move my whole life from Oregon down to Vegas. So it's coming fast. I've got 3 weeks of time here because I'm going to be in Vegas for Thanksgiving for almost a week, getting the space ready there and just enjoying the holidays with Vicky. And then I come back here and then I'm going to be down to 2 weeks to get stuff done. But we're in the middle of Q4, so there's like a lot of work to do. I shipped out 11 things yesterday, so sales have been really ramping up, so that creates a lot of work. And then I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with you know, all the stuff in my house that I don't want to move with me. And then I still have to like be listing because, you know, we got to keep things going and be active every day. And so I've been working really long hours. I'm kind of tired, but I got to go out and source today. I need to get more stuff. And I'm also, you know, trying to clear out old stuff. So like my first stop today is going to be going to Value Village, which for some of you, you might have a Value Village near you, or depending on what state you're in, it's Savers. I know in Vegas, it's Savers. And so I'm going there. I've got 4 giant trash bags filled with clothes that I'm going to donate so I can get rid of them. And then in return, here in Oregon, when you do that, you can get a coupon for up to 30% off. So I'll get a 30% off coupon, go inside and check it out and see if there's any good stuff for me to get, so that I can list some more stuff. But I'm going to turn the fan down a little bit. It's probably loud. So anyway, you know, when I started, I've been going about 2 years now. When I started at the bins and I would just buy anything. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what sold, what didn't sold. I didn't know anything about brands. So I would just buy anything. And you know, it was a really good way to kind of learn like what does sell. But that also means I ended up with like a lot of stuff that's like worthless. So I'm trying to make it at least work for me a little bit, and you know, can kind of cut my losses a little and take some of that and donate it, and then, you know, downsize that part of my inventory while at the same time getting something, getting that coupon so that I can buy other stuff that's better now that I kind of know what I'm doing. So anyway, so I'm also kind of traveling outside of my area today, trying to hit some other thrift stores. I've noticed that as I keep going back to the same stores like every week, it's like it's harder for me to find the stuff that I need to find. And for me, because I have like a really specific niche with men's clothing, and the type of stuff that I get, and I've gotten a lot pickier, it can be a little harder, especially when I keep hitting the same places over and over again. So what I've found is that just about every time I go to, let's say a Goodwill or another thrift store that I've never been to before, I usually have really good luck and I find a lot of really cool stuff. Like last weekend, you know, Lorna took us to a Goodwill in Port Townsend up in Washington, and she was like, you know, this is the worst one, you know, I never find anything here. And we go in there and I'm like, well, that's good because I don't really want to have to like, you know, schlep back too much stuff with me. And I go in and like within 10 minutes, my cart was full and I found so much good stuff. So, I mean, that's one of the things I'm looking forward to about moving down to Vegas, is that the number of thrift stores in that area is much, much larger. So it's going to be impossible for me to kind of shop out any particular store by going to it too often, because I'm going to have so many options. And I'm also going to have a lot of options for, you know, we're going to go on like day trips or weekend sourcing trips. You know, it's like we can go to LA, you know, go to different places in California and San Diego and stuff like that. And it's just, you know, what, 4 or 5 hour drive or whatever it is. Or we can go the other direction and go to like Phoenix, you know. So there's a lot more options for kind of hitting stores and getting kind of fresher inventory. So anyway, so I'm going to spend a few hours today, kind of travel around, hopefully find some good stuff. I got my coffee, I got a little gassed up, so ready to go. And I'll probably check back in with you guys and maybe show you some of the stuff I got. Because I know that people like to see that kind of stuff and it's kind of fun. So I will talk to you later. Hi guys, I'm back and I'm in my dungeon space down here. It's a lot later in the day. It's actually getting kind of late. It's dark outside. But I wanted to come back and let you know how my day of sourcing went. I'm actually going to do a little bit of a haul video here. Haven't done one before. I think in one of my first videos I said I wasn't going to be doing them, but I thought it'd be fun, so I changed my mind, decided to do it. Anyway, so I went to Value Village this morning. I dropped off 4 huge bags of clothing. I actually have like another 10 bags waiting to be taken in. And so because I took those in, I got a card. I used one of them today, but since I've been taking so much stuff, I keep getting more. But this is kind of what they look like. You get it, depending on how much you bring in, they punch it. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if it's focusing. But anyway, I got the highest amount off, which is 30% off, which is pretty good. So I went ahead and did some shopping, and you know, I wasn't really expecting to find anything that great or that much stuff because I was literally just there on Wednesday. Today's Saturday, so it's only been 3 days since I was there before. I got like a bunch of stuff when I was there then, used another 30% off card. And so I was just like, well, I'm here, I might as well just check it out. And I went in and I was actually really surprised at how much stuff I found. I was only there for a little over a half an hour, but normally when I go there, if I haven't been there for a long time, that's the one place where I actually can spend a good hour or two going through everything because it's such a huge space and they have a lot of stuff. But this time I just went straight for the jackets and the sweatshirts and like fleeces because those are kind of like my favorite things to get because they tend to go for a little bit more. And I went and looked through those. So I only spent a half an hour, ended up getting like 11 items. Spent like $93, which I don't think is too bad. You know, I do tend to spend up a little bit more than maybe a lot of other people would. I found that, you know, when I started, I was doing mostly the bins and I would go and I'd spend 99 cents a pound. So yeah, $93, I would get like 93 pounds of clothes, but I was getting a lot of stuff that really wasn't worth anything. And it was when I still didn't really know what I was doing. So I think of it more as like I was paying this kind of cheap tuition to learn. But as I've gotten better and I know what sells and for how much, and I generally have a really good idea of how much I can sell something for, I'm able to spend more. And what's great about that is you'll find a lot of other resellers, and maybe you included, have a hard time spending more than, let's say, a couple bucks for something because you feel like you should be able to get really cheap or you just don't want to spend that much money on it. And well, that's great for people like me because when you come across something that maybe you wouldn't want to spend that money on, it means it's going to be available there for me to buy. So it actually makes it easier for me to find stuff sometimes at stores that maybe other resellers might complain they charge too much. And, you know, granted, of course, yes, they charge too much sometimes for some things. But there's other stuff where, you know, I'm going to pay $20 for a jacket if I know I can sell it for $100. So anyway, so, you know, I got 11 items, spent 93. I think the total was like 130 something, but I saved like 40 bucks with my 30% off coupon. So that's pretty good. Yeah, I'll show you what I got there. So the first thing I grabbed, I actually saw this first, was this vintage LL Bean pullover fleece made in the US. You know, LL Bean doesn't necessarily sell for a lot, but these made in the US vintage, you know, 90s fleeces are actually really popular. So, you know, it was worth it. I paid, let's see, it's $8.49, but I got 30% off that. So anyway, so I got that. It's just kind of a good, like, decent thing to get that you're going to make, you know, a good amount of money on. Nothing huge, maybe like 30 bucks. And then I got this vintage sweatshirt. Now, stuff like this, like t-shirts and sweatshirts, they don't necessarily go for a ton for the most part, but for some reason I just really like getting them. Like, I think it's fun finding like vintage like 90s t-shirts and sweatshirts. So a lot of times I'll pick them up even though I know like maybe I'm not going to make more than like 30 bucks on them. But if I'm only paying like $5, like that's a really good markup. So this one's Windy City, Chicago. I think it's kind of cool. It's got the shoreline and the bridge there. I don't know what the name of the bridge is. I'm sure somebody out there knows what it is if you're from Chicago, and it's got some sailboats on it. So I like that. You know, the heather gray crew neck sweatshirts, they're popular. Another one I got, I like this one. Just another vintage sweatshirt. Needs to be steamed a little bit to get the wrinkles out. It's just a soccer sweatshirt, but again, vintage 90s, made in the US. This was only $2.99, plus I got 30% off, so that was a really good price. That's like the weird thing about Value Village I've noticed. Like, some stuff they'll price kind of high, but still like within what I'll pay for it. And then there'll be other stuff that's randomly like crazy cheap. Like, another example of that is this this jacket. It's a Towncraft jacket, vintage jacket. And I really like these kind of Harrington Barracuda style jackets. They're pretty popular, and I think the color, I don't know how well the color comes through in this video, but I think the color is really nice. It's kind of this like mint green with a slightly offset green on the collar. And this is a really cool jacket, and it's in good condition, and these sell really well, and it's literally priced $5.49, and then I got 30% off of that. So like that to me is kind of ridiculously cheap. It's a good deal. And then back to fleeces, I grabbed this one. Now this is a Chaps Ralph Lauren, and Chaps is like kind of on the lower end, and especially I'm pretty sure that they're no longer a part of Ralph Lauren, because now it's like it just says Chaps on it. But some of this older stuff, I'm assuming, I think this is like maybe late 90s, possibly early 2000s. But it still says Ralph Lauren on it, and I think with the Chaps, with the fleeces like this is a really good color. It's in really good condition. The style is really popular right now. It still says Ralph Lauren on it, and it's pretty, you know, nice size spell out right here on the chest. I think it was a good deal. It was $10.99, again, 30% off of that. So, of course, I'm going to grab that. And then, this is all wrinkled. I need to steam it up. This is a vintage 90s. You can see by the tag here, the white Nike tag with the red swoosh. I'm sorry if this is not coming into focus. There we go. Anyway, these white tags with the red swoosh like this is like mid to later 90s. So this is still vintage. It's like actually like an insulated coat. It's like a quilted, the lining's quilted. So it's like actually like a nice warmer. It's warmer than just like a windbreaker. It's got like a nice little logo here on the breast, and then it also on the back has a pretty big like offset swoosh. So I think this will do pretty well. I think we'll be able to get some good money on that. Definitely grab that. And then this, I think I probably paid too much for this, and even when I bought it, like I knew I was paying too much for it, but there's just certain things that I just like the look of. So this one is, it's an Everlast Sport. Now one of the things I like is it does have like the really big like logo spell out on the back. And it's wool and then like a faux leather sleeve, but these varsity jackets are really popular. This has like a ton of embroidery on it. I just think it's a cool looking jacket. You know, Everlast, is it like a huge brand as far as like bringing in a lot of money? No, not really. This is priced at $23.99, so that's pretty high. Like that's definitely overpriced. 30% off, like I spent a little over $15. I probably shouldn't have spent more than like $10. But I still think I can probably like triple what I paid for it. And I like it, I think it looks cool. So whatever, I decided to get it. Just to add a little bit more to my inventory. And then I got this, I think this is kind of a cool little cotton, kind of soft cotton varsity jacket. It's in really nice condition, looks really fresh and new. And it's University of Oxford, which is, I believe, in the UK. Pretty prestigious university. It's a nice little embroidered thing on there, so, you know, little snaps. And this was $10.99, again, 30% off of that. I think it's a nice little jacket. Let's see, then I got this, which I think is awesome. This is a, it's Puma, but it's their Ferrari line. So I've gotten t-shirts. I think this might be my first jacket that I've gotten of these, but it's just, you know, I think they do shoes as well. There's this really cool red with the Ferrari logo on it. This is a nice little track jacket. And then on the back, really big, is the Ferrari. So I think this is a pretty nice jacket. It was $16.49, got 30% off of that, so not a bad price. And then I love finding this stuff. This is another vintage Nike. It's their, was it their ACG line. So I think this is like 90s. This is like vintage 90s. It's another fleece. It's kind of like a ridiculous print, like totally 90s. I love it. I love finding this kind of stuff. $10.99. Extra large is a really good size. It's just, again, ridiculous pattern on it. So I like that. I was excited to find it. And then the last, no, second to last thing I got at Value Village is this Obermeyer jacket. It's a nice heavy winter jacket. It's just a solid brand. I should be able to do well with it. You know, I paid less than $10 for it. It's just a good, you know, Obermeier's a good brand. I should be able to make a decent sale with this. And obviously it's getting into winter time, so people are buying jackets. And then I got another varsity style jacket. This one is embroidered with Peterbilt and GMC truck. You know, sometimes it can be hit or miss when it comes to getting like company logo embroidered stuff. But when it comes to stuff like, you know, Peterbilt, GMC, it's like those are kind of brands that, you know, there's dudes out there who would like to have a jacket that has that on it. So I think it's a pretty good deal. The price is $7.99 and then 30% off of that. And it doesn't really look like it's been worn. So it's in really good condition. So went ahead and grabbed that. So that's everything I got at Value Village, which sounds like a ton of stuff. So I think what I learned today is that they do a really good job of like turning stuff over. Again, I was there just a few days ago, and I've noticed that when I'm in there, there's like a couple of people that work, you know, they bring out these big rolling racks and then they put out new stuff, and they are so fast. Like I'll be there, let's say I'm there for an hour, and I will see them put out like 6, 7, 8 of these giant racks of clothing. So they're really fast putting stuff out there. And I even saw like a couple of items that I donated 3 days ago, already priced, already out on the floor. So clearly what I was saying earlier about, you know, kind of shopping out my stores by going too often, going once a week, and not seeing new stuff. I think that that probably applies to some of the stores like Goodwill. But when it comes to something like a Value Village or Savers, if they have a system where they're really quickly getting stuff out, I mean, apparently you can go a lot more often and you're going to find a lot of really good stuff. So I think, you know, moving forward, at least as long as I'm still in Oregon, I'll try to hit that Value Village a few more times. I still have a ton more stuff to donate, so I'm going to have like no shortage of 30% off coupons to use. So I might as well keep doing that because, again, I need to keep sourcing, need to keep listing stuff because I don't have a death pile. So I need to keep stuff kind of, you know, going up and going out. So after that, I had decided I wanted to go a little bit further out of my normal area. And so I did go down to this town, Albany. And I will say, as far as Albany was concerned, not super impressed. I went to the Goodwill there. I didn't find a bunch of stuff. I only got 2 items. You know, I mean, they're good items, so it's like I'm glad that I went. But the first thing I got was this vintage. Again, we have another varsity jacket. This one is actually wool and leather. It's not faux leather. And at least I don't think so. Yep, it's leather. And this is an Oregon State Beavers patch on it. And so, I mean, it's a nice jacket. I paid $20 for it, which, you know, I should be able to at the very least triple, if not quadruple that. You know, it's in really good condition. Doesn't really look like it's been worn much. So, you know, it's a good jacket. And then the only other thing I got there was this denim trucker kind of work jacket. You know, dark wash. It's like a nice dark denim. It's in really good condition. And, you know, these are already like relatively popular, but what I love about this one is it's actually a Prison Blues jacket. So I don't know if you know about Prison Blues, but that actually comes out of Oregon, out of the prison system at one of the prisons, Oregon State Correctional Institution. The inmates there, I don't believe they make them anymore, but they used to have a program there, and it was really big, like in the 90s. So this is from the 90s. They made jeans and jackets and stuff to be sold on the outside. And so it's kind of cool, you know, you get this, so it kind of like adds, I think, like a little bit of a, you know, I guess, I don't know, wow factor to this as far as being able to sell them. I have some jeans that don't really move super fast, like they're like carpenter jeans. But I think that, you know, with denim kind of trucker style work jackets like this being really popular, and then adding to it that they were made by incarcerated men in the prison system, might make it a little bit more desirable. But it's a really nice jacket. I paid $15 for it. So again, I'm paying a little bit more for stuff than maybe a lot of people would, But I mean, if you really want to get to where you're selling more quality items and you want to be able to like regularly source them, I mean, you're gonna have to start getting to where you're paying up, especially when you're like me and you're really specific about the stuff that you get. You know, I have a niche, mine is men's clothing. And so, you know, for other people, if you're doing a little bit of everything, hard goods, women clothes, you might not have to do that as much. But for me, I do. So anyway, so that's what I got there. So then I also had gone by a St. Vinny's thrift shop when I was going to the Goodwill, and so I was like, okay, I'll go check it out, even though the St. Vinny's near me is terrible and I never find anything. Their pricing is so confusing. I don't understand it. I tend not to find anything that's really that great there anyway, so but I figured I might as well do it since I drove all the way down here. I went in there, found nothing. There wasn't even anything that I sort of wanted that was priced too high. It was like there was nothing that I even cared about. So that was disappointing. So then I was heading out of town to go down to Corvallis and hit their Goodwill, and I just happened to drive by this little thrift store, so I did like a little and pulled over, went in, again, found nothing. So Albany was mostly a bust other than those 2 jackets. But anyway, so I went down to Corvallis, kind of took the back roads since there was a lot of traffic on the freeway from the football games going on here, and went to the Goodwill down there, and I actually did okay. I wasn't, you know, I was kind of worried that I was going to completely strike out, and then the whole kind of driving an hour away was going to be for nothing. But I found some cool stuff. I found this vintage t-shirt. Again, I like vintage t-shirts a lot. This one's actually really cool. It's a Dixie Blackened Voodoo Lager t-shirt out of New Orleans. It's really cool, and it doesn't look like it's really been worn at all. It's like the printing on it is in really good condition, and you probably can't tell from the video, but it's got like glittery, sparkly, like it's a really cool t-shirt. I think I should be able to actually do pretty well, because it's like the whole scene is like in the swamps. You got like these creepy eyes that I guess maybe they're supposed to be like alligators or something like that hidden in the swamps. But it's a really cool t-shirt. I like it. New Orleans stuff, kind of themed stuff, tends to do pretty well. So I was excited about that. I got this jacket. It's kind of a satin bomber jacket. It's got Penn on the back. Now, I don't know. I mean, I thought Penn State was just like blue and white or something. I don't know if this is Penn State. I don't know. I mean, it's a vintage jacket. It's a nice embroidery on the back. I don't know. If you know, you tell me. I'll have to do a little more research, but man, I thought I would get it. I paid $12.99 for it, which again, probably a little high, but I think I'll do all right with it. And I wanted to make the trip worthwhile. Otherwise, I was just like wasting a whole day, and time is money too. All right, so this, I love this. This is an Adidas Originals Peru soccer track jacket. And it's got like tons of embroidery on it. And it's got the trefoil right here. The back has like this huge embroidered Peru, and then that thing, I can't remember what they're called, but anyway, it's got a couple of spots that I'm gonna have to spot clean, but otherwise it's in really good condition, and these kind of jackets go for quite a bit, and I think I should be able to do really well on this one. So I was happy to find that. And then, I don't know if you know about this brand or not, this is Metal Militia. And it's just kind of like, I don't know, really know the history of it or anything, but I have noticed that this brand, like just tank tops like this, I've sold multiples of these internationally. I've sent them to like Russia and like some of those Eastern European countries. So it seems to do really well. This was $6.99, so I went ahead and picked it up. It's all embroidered. Yeah, whatever. And then I got another vintage 90s Nike. It's that white tag with the red swoosh, black lettering. This one is Brazil. It's kind of like a thin track jacket, but it's embroidered. It's got Brazil on the back. So it's kind of a mesh material, an interesting mesh material. But it's a pretty nice jacket. Looks like it's a pullover, so definitely worth picking up. I think I paid, yeah, $7.99, which is not a bad price on that. And the last two things I got, I feel like I find these all the time. If you ever come across these, pick them up. It is the Arnold Palmer vintage cardigan sweaters. These sell really well. And this one, it's like, I don't know, people just don't realize that, or like nobody around here likes them. I don't know. The half off color at Goodwill for this week was yellow. It's Saturday, which means the color's gonna switch over tomorrow, which means that this has been sitting there for at least a month, and it made it through an entire week of being half off. So I only paid $4 for it. And honestly, like, I just sold a yellow one of these the other day for $80. So I don't know what's going on, but I swear I find these all the time. And then I found another one. This one's Jeff Lynx, which I've never heard of. But it's another vintage cardigan sweater. Again, yellow tag, so I got half off, so I paid $4 for it. It's in nice condition. I'm assuming it probably won't do as well as the Arnold Palmer one, but I could be wrong. Again, I don't know what Jeff Lynx is. But anyway, it's a nice cardigan. So that's everything I got today. So to recap what I learned, Value Village, I need to be going back there more often. They turn over a lot of stuff. Seems like they get a lot of really good donations. Their prices overall are pretty decent. Some of them are a little bit higher, but by using the coupon, I bring that price down for me. And it also keeps stuff from like being sold too quickly to where I can't get it. So I tend to find lots of really good stuff there. As far as going kind of outside of my normal range, I'm glad I went because I needed to check it out. It's always good to like check out, you know, kind of go out further and see what's going on. I think based on how it went today, if I was staying in Oregon, I would not go to those. I wouldn't go there again because there's not enough. If there was like tons of stores around there that I could check out, fine. But with there only being like a couple of shops, and there were a couple of other thrift stores in Corvallis that I went to that I didn't find anything at. So again, it's like, it just wasn't worth the drive. Like, I found some cool stuff, but I don't feel like it was worth the time that I had to take to do it. So anyway, so yeah, so it's always, you know, sometimes you're going to win, sometimes you're not, but you have to like check things out because you never know. It could have been like, I found the best place ever down there and I found like a ton of stuff and it would have been great. And yeah, but I didn't. So overall, I think today was like a moderate success. So I'll get all this stuff photographed tomorrow morning and I'll probably get most of it listed by the end of the day tomorrow. I try to get my stuff listed as quickly as possible. But yeah, so that was my first little haul, I guess. Thanks for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. And I will be hopefully putting up more videos more frequently in the next few weeks because I do want to keep you guys kind of along for the ride of me moving and me getting ready to go. And I'm definitely going to be making some videos over the Thanksgiving week as I'm preparing that space in Vegas and making that happen because right now it seems like a really overwhelmingly giant task, and I'm going to show you what we're starting with because you've seen like all the stuff I have. You've seen like my inventory, and so I will show you, you know, I'm going to show you like a before of where I'm starting at, you know, the space that I have there, the space that Vicky has and where all of her inventory is, and kind of what our ideas are for how we're going to make it work. I think it's doable, but it's going to be a lot of work. So it's going to be a crazy next few weeks, and I'm going to be bringing you more videos if I can. I'm going to try to make that happen. So thanks so much, guys, and I will talk to you later. Oh, and also, if you have any questions, like I'm happy to answer questions, whether it's about me personally, about my move, about eBay in general, about selling, about sourcing, about any of the charity stuff that I'm doing. If you have any questions at all, go ahead and ask them in the comments, or you can email me. And I'll also try to like address them in videos, so just let me know. Anyway, thanks. Have a great night. Bye.